Hi guys, so I realise I haven't really made a video in quite some time. Actually, my last video uploaded to this channel was January 24th, but I want to make Just Tom an actual thing, so I'm going to kind of focus on and try and give you guys some more content. And this is the first kind of segmented bit of that content. I'm calling this February Favourites because February has been quite an interesting and quite an awesome month, and I'm going to be breaking this up into sections, whether it be music, whether it be films, whether it be books that I've read, or even just life experiences. And I want to start off with life experiences. Now, February 2016 has been a very transitional month for me, and it just ending over 5 days ago has kind of put my mind into perspective, because I started off January with quite a hopeful kind of message, and I still endeavour to. I did really, really well on my first semester of university, which I'm really proud of myself for doing. I even passed shorthand, which, if you're a journalist or someone that studies journalism like me, is quite a hard endeavour to kind of pass within your first term and kind of get round. And I'm still kind of learning how to do shorthand, and that was the one thing that I thought I would fail out of all my kind of journalism thing. Most of my grades sort of came up to a 2-2. One was a 2-1, so I haven't done too badly. I've passed almost all of my subjects for uni in my first semester, so I'm pretty happy about that. But also, February has been quite a troubling time for me in general, because I'm changing as a person. I feel like I'm maturing as an adult, and a lot of things have happened in my life that have definitely kind of changed my attitude towards a few people, which is what life's about. Your attitude's going to change regardless of whether you grow up or not. It's just the way things are. But I've had a very interesting month, and that's kind of made me stop making videos, or trying to attempt to make videos, just because I've had my plate full with so many different things, and I've been trying to sort of sort out uni, sort out my life, and make friendships and try and improve. So yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is the Facebook thing. I post a lot on Facebook, and I've been trying to cut back on it, and trying to kind of make my posts more sparse, because I usually post on Facebook out of boredom, and I do it out of just a million different things. So yeah, that's why I usually post on Facebook a lot, just generally out of interest, and out of just what I'm into, what I'm interested in. I've been trying not to do it as regularly, just because I don't really want to come off as a bit of a dick on Facebook, and I am sorry if I do, but I'm not meaning to. It's just because I'm a very opinionated, a very outspoken, very extroverted individual. I like to talk about stuff that I'm interested in, and sometimes people on Facebook don't particularly like what I have to say on my opinions on things, but I will stand by my opinions if I think my opinions are valid, or if my opinions are my opinions, and that's how it is, because as an adult you have to have opinions, kind of form you into the person you are. But on a more happier note, I'm going to start off with the first section of this particular vlog, February Favourites vlog, and that's of course going to be books. Books. I've been reading a lot of books lately. I don't know whether it's uni making me read more, but I've got two books here. One's a graphic novel, one's an actual autobiography by one of my favourite heavy metal songwriters of all time. So this is of course the book called Confessions of a Heretic. This is of course the autobiography of Nergal, Adam Duszinski of the band Behemoth, who are actually one of my favourite death metal bands, blackened death metal bands, one of my favourite extreme metal bands of all time. And he's had a very interesting life story. But this takes a very interesting slant on autobiography, because it's not what you would expect. It's not Nergal sitting down with pen and paper and going, here's my life story, this is what's happened, this is all the crazy stuff that I did. It's not that. What it is him and a bunch of mates sitting down, and they're just interviewing him on a bunch of subjects, so religion and race, and you through the chapters, you really start to piece together what makes this man this man. And of course, he talks about his battle of leukemia, which was very heavily publicised in the rock press here in the UK and across the world. And obviously, he's gotten better. Produced Satanist back in 2014, which is absolutely one of the most jaw-dropping extreme metal albums of all time. And it's one that I definitely love as a long-time fan of just music. and just, you know, of music in general. And for him to be as he is still here, definitely one of the geniuses in the extreme metal world. The foreword's also by Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, which is another one of my favourite bands as well. So if you're a metalhead and you've got a spare 18 quid lying around, definitely buy this one, because it's actually a really interesting read, and it's an interesting slant on normal like rock biographies or rock autobiographies, and it's a very interesting book. And it's very quotable, it's very interesting, it's very quirky, and you get so many different stuff on here. And the last chapter I was reading was about, religion and about physical work and how, bands need to make income. And Dazinski, or Nurgle, as he likes to be called, is very, very, very kind of inept at kind of speaking his mind about religion. And a lot of his opinions seem to kind of oppose mine in a lot of different ways, because I may not be religious, but I was raised in a very typical kind of Catholic Portuguese household. I was raised within the Catholic Church, and even though I don't consider myself religious in any way, I actually consider myself an atheist, slightly agnostic maybe. That's, I think, my religious slant. And his kind of, he's not a Satanist, but his belief in some of the satanic beliefs I found a little bit disconcerting. But obviously that's who he is. He's a controversial figure with a lot of opinions, who makes great, great, great heavy metal music. And you know what? Definitely one of the most interesting books I've read in quite some time, coming out of the rock world. And I really can't wait to see if there's a follow-up, or there's other books they're going to do with him, or he's going to write more. But it's a very interesting collection of interviews from definitely one of the most prolific personalities in the history of extreme metal, and I had a lot of fun with this one. So yeah, and this one is kind of a me choice, just unexpected, because it is a graphic novel. Nightwing Bloodhaven Volume 1 now. Nightwing is my favourite superhero of all time, so anything Nightwing I'll buy on principle. Have Nightwing pop vinyl, Nightwing t-shirt. I'm a little bit obsessed with this dude, and it's definitely, this is basically the best Nightwing graphic novel series that they ever produced. The artwork by, of course, the likes of Dennis O'Neil and Chuck Dixon is incredible. Just the classic kind of 80s, early 90s style of comics is definitely some of my favourite stuff ever, because it's still got that kind of interesting colour palette. And obviously, the stories are well thought out and interesting, and you really, really, really learn about how, Nightwing, how the first Robin, Dick Grayson, became his own hero in Nightwing with Bloodhaven, which is definitely more like a grotty, gritty, version of Gotham City in Bloodhaven. And it's a really, 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 really interesting and very incredible book, and it's definitely something that I recommend any comic book fan who has a vague interest in Nightwing to start off with this one, because it was actually a really, really interesting read, and I'm planning to get the other 2 volumes over time. So yeah, I really, really like the artwork on here. I really love the storytelling, and it's definitely something that I really, really enjoy. So yeah, that's me done for books. I could talk about my recent kind of journalism studies, but I don't know if anyone's going to be interested in that. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll save that for a separate video. But continuing on, music. Now, this month's been a very interesting month for music for me. I've got a couple of gigs. No, February's been a very interesting month. I had a gig. I had a couple of gigs. Yeah, I had Bowling for Soup on the 5th, which of course, pop punk luminaries, and definitely one of my favourite bands, kind of cheesy bands, or the Dolly Rots as well. That was a great, great night. A lot of fun, a lot of drinking to be had, so I had a lot of fun with that one. Ailstorm and Sabaton was last week for me, and that was a lot of fun. I've seen both bands live separately, and to see them on the same bill was pretty cool. But I've got to kind of go on a little bit of a rant here, and it's just something that bothers me as a metal fan or as a music fan, is the fact that there are so many bands trying to recreate that classic 80s sound and doing absolutely nothing with it, and that kind of annoys me. And the opening band for Sabaton and Ailstorm was this band called Bloodbound, which I just sort of found to be a little bit kind of annoying and pretentious in nature, because I just felt like it was Iron Maiden with mixtures of King Diamond, and I just felt like a little bit insulted by it. But maybe that's me becoming more of a fan of music that's a lot more serious, a lot more stern, a lot more adult, and maybe I'm growing up with my music. Now, this definitely reflects in the album choices that I've picked. 2 albums. Pac Anderson's new album, Malibu, is Anderson .Paak's new album, Malibu, It's definitely one of my favourites of the entire year. It's great, it's funky, it's soulful. It's got some really, really interesting songs on there, songs like The Bird. It just has a very interesting and collectively awesome vibe. And I had a lot of fun with that one because it was just something that over the past 2 years I've really developed my music taste outside the metal and rock world, and for that album to come along and really impress me is kind of a big deal. So I really hope that Anderson .Paak puts out some incredible new music in the future, because I had a lot of collective fun with that one. Also, my second album is Milk Teeth with their debut album Vile Child. Now, Milk Teeth are a band that are really, really becoming big in the UK rock scene and are about to be one of the biggest bands in the world. Vile Child is kind of a mixture of post-hardcore, grunge, elements of traditional kind of alternative rock, and it's a really, really, really cool record. It's got some great songs. Sung Baby, it's very catchy, and definitely my favourite debut album, in about 2 years, I would say. Definitely my favourite debut album in about 2 years, and it's something that, it's very few and far between now with debut albums and bands that are coming out that you feel like this band is going to be the next big thing. And I feel like Milk Teeth have got all the kind of intangible elements that could potentially make them big, because they sort of fit within the indie camp. Like, indie fans can like them and still consider them heavy, and I would say metal and more traditional hard rock fans could really enjoy them because they sound like Nirvana with mixings and meshings of post-hardcore, and it's some really, really, really great stuff, and I definitely had a lot of fun with that one as a long-time music fan. So yeah, Anderson .Paak with Malibu and Milk Tea with Vile Child are my two music picks, and you've got the Elstorm and Sabaton gig. Also, I went to Manchester for the first time. That was cool. That was awesome, because I haven't visited many major UK cities apart from my home, London, Leeds, which I'm at uni at. I visited Birmingham briefly, but Manchester was a really new experience for me. It was kind of like, if anyone's been to Camden in London, a little bit like Camden, but on a grandier scale. So yeah, but yeah, that's my February favourites. And of course, it's been a little bit of an update for you guys. I'm planning to make a couple more videos on my political beliefs, and I want to talk about my political beliefs, as why I'm a liberal, because someone asked me that on the video before, like last month, why I'm a liberal, and I should really kind of answer that question for people just to clarify. And also, my favourite film of this month has been Deadpool. Deadpool was amazing. I'm a massive, massive X-Men fan, so Deadpool is definitely high up in there. It's very funny, it's very witty, and it was a lot better than I expected, so I had a lot of collective fun with that one. So Deadpool's awesome before I go. But yeah, feel free to drop some video suggestions down below, and this has just been my February favourites update vlog thing. And guys, I'll see you later, and thanks for watching.